Gemini, there is something God wants you to hear, right in this very moment. Not tomorrow, not next week, but now. A message is reaching out to you, as gentle as a passing breeze, but if you listen with your heart, you'll realize God is reminding Gemini that you've been losing what is truly precious: your real self, your genuine relationships, your true opportunities, because you've been too afraid of getting hurt and too busy trying to prove your worth. It seems like you're still smiling, still pretending everything's fine, but deep inside, something is cracking, something you don't even dare to name. Maybe it's the emptiness that follows conversations filled with laughter but lacking real connection. Or perhaps it's that moment of silence when an opportunity appears, yet you hold back afraid you're not good enough, not ready enough. Gemini, you've always carried two worlds within you, one that wants to soar high and another that fears the fall. And amid the shifting winds, you're slowly forgetting the direction your soul truly longs to fly toward. What makes this moment different is that no one is asking you to prove how smart, interesting, or strong you are. What God wants you to recognize is the truth within, that you don't have to shine in order to be loved. You only need to be simple, vulnerable, and sincere. If these words feel like they're speaking straight to your heart, leave a comment saying, "I am ready to open my eyes," to let the universe know you're ready to receive the message meant for Gemini. Don't forget to like and subscribe, so you won't miss the next divine whisper meant just for you. Now, take a deep breath, find a quiet corner, and pour yourself a cup of your favorite tea or coffee. Because what's coming next isn't just a prophecy, it's a conversation between your soul and God Himself, gently calling your name, Gemini. Part 1. A warning message from God. Gemini, stop for a moment. Just a brief moment, amidst the rush of life that's been sweeping you away too fast. Breathe deeply, exhale slowly, and let your heart settle. Because right now, a message is being sent to you, not by chance, not by coincidence, but by divine arrangement. A whisper from God, soft as a breeze, yet carrying the power to awaken your soul. God is reminding Gemini that you've been losing what is truly precious: your authentic self, your genuine relationships, your real opportunities, because you've been too afraid of being hurt and too busy proving your worth. Have you noticed that lately, some of the things you once cherished are slowly slipping away? The people who once made you smile now seem distant, and the dreams that once set your heart on fire have faded into weak embers? Gemini, you are neither bad nor wrong. You're just tired. Tired of living in a world where you must always be right, always happy, always confident, even when you're breaking inside. You are Gemini, born between two worlds, one of light, one of shadow. One side longs to love, the other fears loss. One wants to express, the other chooses silence. And God sees that battle within you, the battle no one knows, no one hears, yet it's draining your soul day by day. He wants you to pause, look deeply into the mirror, and ask yourself, am I truly living or just performing for the world to see? You say you're fine, you're busy, you need to focus on the future, but what if that very future is quietly stealing away your present, piece by piece? Can you see it, Gemini? Each time you pretend to be strong, your heart weakens a little more. Each time you smile to avoid explaining, your soul aches for someone who can truly see you. God hasn't come to frighten you, He's here to remind you that He's still beside you. In every breath, in every heartbeat. Everything you're feeling, the confusion, the emptiness, the disconnection, is not a punishment. It's a warning, a divine signal that you're drifting too far from your true path. Maybe you used to be the one who made others laugh, the one everyone turned to for advice. But now, when you need someone to understand you, you don't even know where to turn. Don't blame the world, Gemini, because God is waiting for you to look back, not outward, but inward. Inside you lives a beautiful soul, intelligent, emotional, and yearning, to live honestly, not to be admired, but to be loved. When you were born, God placed within you two rays of light, the light of intellect and the light of emotion. But you've used your intellect to hide your emotions instead of allowing them to merge. You've used your words to protect yourself, but in doing so, you've built walls between you and others. God wants you to know, no one loves you for the perfection you try to project. People only love you when you dare to be real. And if you don't learn to release that tough exterior, you'll keep losing what's most sacred, the divine connections He's been sending you, the ones you've been too afraid to receive. Gemini, do you ever feel like your heart is a gust of wind constantly changing direction, unable to stay still? That's not inconsistency. That's your soul searching for its way home. You don't have to be someone else's light. You only need to return to the light within yourself. Today, as you hear these words, don't take them as coincidence. The universe never sends a message to the wrong person or at the wrong time. If you're here, it means God is calling you back to faith, back to feeling, back to the truest version of yourself, the one who's been asleep within you for far too long. So, Gemini, be still. Let everything around you slow down, so your heart can finally hear what your soul has been whispering. Let this not be just a video, but a sacred conversation between two souls, you and the Creator. Part 2. The invisible loss of Gemini. Gemini, you've always called yourself a free spirit. You hate being tied down, you hate limitations, and you always say you want to live life on your own terms. But sometimes God looks at you and smiles with gentle sadness, because the freedom you're holding on to so tightly has slowly turned into chaos, and you haven't even noticed. You say you want to fly, yet you don't really know where you're flying to. You say you want change, yet so many changes have left you unsure of who you truly are anymore. You are the wind, Gemini, born to move, to feel, to explore the new. But somewhere along that journey, the wind has forgotten the direction from which its soul once began. You were once pure. You once trusted. You once dared to love, to speak, to dream. But as you grew older, you became more cautious, more guarded, and sometimes so cold that even you don't recognize yourself. You've learned to hide emotions behind smiles, to say what others want to hear, to adapt yourself to fit every person and every situation. And slowly, you no longer know which version is the real you and which one exists only when you're around others. That is the invisible loss God wants you to see. You are losing the truth inside your own mind, not because you lack intelligence, but because you have too much of it. You understand others deeply. You read between every word they say, and you choose harmony instead of confrontation. But each time you change yourself to be liked, you drift farther away from the essence God first breathed into you, the spirit of the wind. Gemini, your loneliness doesn't come from the lack of people around you. It comes from not knowing who can truly touch your soul. Others hear your words, but few feel your heart. They see someone quick, funny, and talkative, but they don't see the storm inside, where your mind and emotions constantly collide. You've always believed you were in control, yet deep down, You're searching for a place to belong. God sees it all. He sees you smiling while your soul is in turmoil. He sees you hiding in busyness to avoid facing the terrifying questions. Who am I really living for? Am I speaking my truth? Or just saying what others want to hear? When was the last time I truly listened to my own voice? Gemini, no one blames you for changing. You were born adaptable, able to feel life from countless perspectives. But that's exactly why you need an anchor within a place to return to when everything outside becomes too loud. And that anchor is your soul. God wants you to remember. Freedom isn't about going everywhere. It's about being able to stay without losing yourself. True freedom isn't found in journeys, relationships, or constant change. It's found in that quiet moment when you can look into the mirror and say, "This is me. Not perfect, not pretending to be strong, just me." Gemini, you can soar far and high, but never forget to return. Even the wind needs its origin to keep moving forward. And God is reminding you, if you don't rediscover your true direction, you'll keep spinning inside the storm of your own creation. Half-true connections, surface-level joys, and silences you're afraid to face. Perhaps it's time to stop seeking validation from the world. Because the world changes every day, and the more you chase it, the farther you drift from yourself. God is waiting for you to come back, not to anyone else, but to the real Gemini, the one who once dared to love, to dream, and to believe. So next time you're about to say something just to please others, pause for a few seconds and ask yourself, does this truly come from my heart? Just 1 second of awareness is enough to bring you closer to your true essence. If you feel like you've been losing touch with who you are, leave a comment saying, "I want to return to myself." And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue this journey with me. Because the most beautiful things, dear Gemini, begin only when you stop and choose to come home. Part 3. 3 groups of Gemini. 3 types of loss. Gemini, do you know that every soul born under your sign carries a special gift, a divine mission God placed within you the moment your spirit entered this world? But the irony is, the more special you are, the easier it is to lose your way, because life constantly makes you doubt the very beauty inside you. And now, God wants to remind you, every Gemini born in a different phase carries a unique kind of loss, but they all lead back to the same question. Are you still living true to yourself? Gemini born between May 21, May 30. The loss of creative spirit. You are the Geminis gifted by God with extraordinary imagination. In your mind, the world is always vibrant. Ideas flow endlessly, and emotions shift like drifting clouds. You have the power to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary, to captivate others with just your words, your smile, or even a glance. But lately, hasn't that light felt dimmer? You have brilliant ideas, yet you silence them with thoughts like, "It's not good enough," "I'm not ready," or "I need more time to prepare." You've forgotten that God didn't choose you for perfection. He chose you because your creative spirit is the light this world needs. Each time you hesitate, each time you wait for the right moment, you lose a bit more of the divine gift He entrusted to you. Not because you're not talented enough, but because you fear your light will be judged. Yet, Gemini, light is only beautiful when it's seen. And if you don't dare to shine, the world loses a color that only you can bring. Remember this. God never asked you to be perfect. He only asked you to begin. Gemini born between May 31, June 9. the loss of genuine connection. You are the Geminis with sensitive, intuitive, and tender hearts. You know how to listen, how to say the words others want to hear, yet you rarely let anyone truly enter your inner world. You love deeply, but fear that love will make you weak. You care, but you hide it behind silence, afraid that if you speak, others will see the fragile parts of you. Gemini, you're losing your most genuine relationships because you're too afraid of getting hurt. You give, but always hold something back, like keeping a shield around your heart. You think you're protecting yourself, but in truth, you're standing alone amidst half-formed connections. God sees that. He knows you long to be understood, to be loved without pretending to be okay. But how can anyone truly reach you if you keep them standing outside the door, the one only you hold the key to? Real love doesn't demand perfection. It only asks for truth. And if you never allow someone to see your softness, you'll keep loving in silence and waiting in loneliness. Gemini, God wants you to understand. Sincerity is a gift, not a weakness. Open your heart, because you deserve a love that doesn't require pretending. Gemini born between June 10, June 20. The loss of your true self. You are the most introspective and emotionally layered Geminis. You can read others just by looking into their eyes, yet you hide behind countless perfect versions of yourself. You laugh to cover your tears, joke to mask your anxiety, and act like you have it all together, so no one sees you falling apart. God sees all of it, and He wants to whisper to you, "My child, you don't have to be anyone else to be loved. My child, you don't have to be anyone else to be loved. You've carried too many roles. The strong one, the cheerful one, the wise one who always knows what to do. But when night falls and the lights go out, there's only you exhausted, lost, unsure of who you really are anymore. Gemini, you don't need perfection to deserve love. People will love you not for the image you build, but for your soul, the one that holds both light and darkness, brilliance and cracks. And if you keep wearing that mask, one day you'll look in the mirror and no longer recognize the face staring back at you. God didn't create you to be accepted. He created you to be authentic. And only when you dare to remove that armor will you see that even your softness can shine and your imperfections can be loved. Gemini, 3 groups, 3 types of loss, yet they all stem from the same root. You're forgetting the soul God placed within you. Every fear, every hesitation, every role you play is another layer of dust, covering that divine light. Part 4. The root of it all. The fear of getting hurt. Gemini, you are a child of wind and light, endlessly curious, always yearning to understand everything in this world, even your own emotions. But God wants to remind you of something. Emotions are not meant to be understood. They are meant to be felt. You can analyze every situation, explain every action, read everyone around you, and yet still fail to touch your own heart. For so long, you've learned to observe emotions instead of living them. You hide sadness behind a smile, hide pain behind logic, hide loneliness behind lively conversations. And over time, you've forgotten what it feels like to be loved in a genuine way, not because the world doesn't love you, but because you haven't allowed anyone to reach the soft, fragile part of you. Gemini, you're scared, aren't you? Scared of being hurt, scared of being rejected, scared of giving your heart again, only to watch it shatter. Scared that if someone sees your weakness, they'll leave just like the ones before. So you try to control everything, your words, your expressions, even the way you love. You want to stay in control so no one can ever hurt you. But what you don't realize is that this control is slowly killing your true emotions. God sees everything. He sees you smiling with sad eyes. He sees you comforting others while you're running on empty. He sees you saying, "I'm fine," 10 times a day, only to lie awake at night, trapped in nameless thoughts. He knows you've built walls with words, with logic, with humor to protect your heart from pain. But Gemini, those walls don't just block pain, they block love, too. You've built them with your words, but your heart is now imprisoned inside them. You think you're safe, but in truth, you've never felt lonelier. You don't let anyone see your weakness, so they can only love the strong version of you, not the real you. They can't love who you truly are, because you've never shown them that person. And God says, your softness is not a weakness, it's sacred truth, the truth of your soul, the truth of love. He doesn't want you to be strong all the time. He wants you to be real, even if that means trembling, facing your fears, or crying. Because only when you dare to be vulnerable can you truly connect with this world. Imagine your heart as a room. You've kept it locked for so long that even light can't find its way in. But if today you dare to open that door even just a crack, the light will flood in. And God will be there, not to judge, but to hold you. He doesn't need you to be perfect. He just needs you to be authentic. Gemini, you don't need to hide your wounds for someone to love you, because the person truly sent by God will not fear your pain. They will touch it gently. And those who leave when they see your weakness, they were never meant to stay. Can you see it now? When you allow yourself to cry, you don't become smaller, you become more real. When you say, "I'm scared," you're not failing, you're growing. When you open your heart, you don't lose strength. You reclaim the soul God placed within you long ago. And God whispers, "I did not create you to be a wall. I created you to be a door that opens to love, a door that opens to connection, a door that opens to the beauty you've been waiting for. But that door can't be opened with logic, only with your true heart. Today, perhaps you'll realize this. You don't need to understand why you're hurting. You only need to dare to feel it. Because feeling is the first step toward healing. And God is waiting for you to take that step, not tomorrow, not when you're ready, but right now. Part 5. Signs from the Universe and the Awakening Call. Gemini, have you noticed it? Lately, strange things keep repeating around you, unfinished conversations that linger in your mind, dreams about someone from your past, or an unexplainable urge to start over. That's not coincidence. That's a sign. And if you're hearing these words right now, it means God is trying to speak to you. God doesn't send texts or write letters. He reaches you through energy, through subtle signals that only sensitive souls like Gemini can feel. When an old song suddenly plays the moment you think of someone, when you see repeating numbers 11, 11, 333, 5, 55. When you unexpectedly meet someone you haven't spoken to in years, or hear a phrase that tugs at your heart, all of these are the language of the universe. Gemini, you've been blessed with powerful intuition, yet sometimes you don't trust it because you're afraid your feelings will make you weak. You analyze, you rationalize, you search for logical explanations. But the universe doesn't speak in logic. God doesn't want you to understand. He wants you to feel. Those recurring dreams aren't just memories. They're reminders of things left unresolved. Maybe it's a person, an opportunity, or a part of yourself that's been forgotten. Each time you ignore it, your soul grows a little heavier, because God doesn't take things away from you. He reminds you to protect what truly matters before it's too late. Gemini, you live fast, think fast, and change fast. But that's exactly why you often miss the gentlest signals. Sometimes God only wants you to pause to listen to the wind, to feel the light, to realize that something is calling you home. Maybe it's a conversation you never finished, an apology you've been afraid to give, or a dream you abandoned halfway. The universe doesn't forget it. Simply waits for you to be brave enough to complete what you once started. Remember, every stirring in your heart has a reason. When you feel the urge to begin again, that's your soul guiding you back to the path you left behind. When someone reappears at the right moment, it's because there's a lesson you still need to learn. When you miss someone for no reason, it's because their soul still walks beside yours, on another energetic plane. Don't be afraid. Don't dismiss it. These moments aren't weakness, they're proof that you're still alive, still chosen by God to feel, love, and awaken. Gemini, you are the child of the wind, and the wind has no fixed form. Yet wherever it travels, it always carries the scent of where it once belonged. The universe is reminding you. Don't forget where you began. Don't let the rush of life make you ignore the voice of your heart. Because one day, when that opportunity passes, when that person is gone, when that dream fades away, you'll realize the scariest thing isn't losing. It's being reminded over and over, and still staying silent. God says to you, I don't create coincidences. I create opportunities for awakening. Every sign, every emotion, every ache in your chest is Him knocking, softly reminding you, time waits for no one, but I am still waiting for you. Gemini, listen closely. Today might be the last chance to hold on to what truly matters. And if you truly feel this message, don't take it as mere words. Take it as a call to awaken your soul. If you've recognized these signs, share one thing you're afraid of losing in the comments, so the universe knows you've heard His call. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue decoding the divine messages God sends to Gemini. Because sometimes one message at the right moment is enough to change your destiny. Part 6. Awakening and Action. Gemini. After all the signs, the dreams, and the divine reminders, now is the moment you must choose. Not between right and wrong, success or failure, but between living truthfully and continuing to pretend. Because life doesn't punish people through failure, it punishes them by making them lose their own soul. Today, God wants you to hear this clearly. Do not let your intelligence become a curtain that hides your emotions. Do not let your words kill the truth within your heart. Gemini, you are so intelligent that sometimes you become the one convincing yourself to believe in what isn't real. You say, everything's fine, even as you fall apart inside. You reason your way through every pain, instead of allowing yourself to feel it. You've used your mind to survive, but now God wants you to use your heart to live. You may think awakening is a magical moment, a sudden burst of light after the storm. But it's not. It's a simple act. Stopping and admitting. Admitting that you're tired. Admitting that you miss someone. Admitting that you're scared but still want to love, to believe, to live. Gemini, the moment you dare to be honest with your feelings is the moment your journey home begins. God doesn't ask you to stay strong forever. He only asks you to be honest with Him and with yourself. Try this. The next time you talk to someone, Stop trying to find the perfect thing to say. Stop playing the role of the one who always knows. Just listen, just feel. Sometimes, a minute of silence, a genuine look, or a simple "I understand you" is enough to reopen the door to connection you thought was gone forever. And when night comes, sit with yourself. No music, no screens, no other faces, just you. Write down what you fear most. Maybe it's the fear of being left behind. Maybe it's the fear of not being enough. Maybe it's the fear that no one truly understands you. Write it down. Place it before you. And look straight at it. Because what you fear facing the most is exactly what you're meant to overcome. God didn't give you fear so you could run, He gave it to remind you that you're still alive. Gemini, understand this. Awakening isn't about adding something new. It's about removing everything that isn't you. Every word you've used to hide, every forced smile, every role you've played, just to make others believe you're okay. All of that, God says, it's time to let go. Because He isn't waiting for the version of you that's impressive, charming, productive, or clever. He's waiting for the version that's real, the one who once laughed freely at small joys, who cried over a song, who believed in goodness even when the world doubted it. God is waiting for you to return not as the perfect version, but as the true one. And when you do return, when you dare to live with your heart instead of your mask, you'll realize that nothing meant for you can ever be taken away. No one can make you lose direction, because your true light will already be burning within. Gemini, the universe doesn't need your perfection. It needs your truth. Once you start living authentically, miracles will follow. The right people will appear. The right doors will open. And old wounds will heal in the light of honesty. Remember, even the smallest action today can shift your destiny entirely. Be brave enough to begin right now by being honest with your emotions, by saying what you've never dared to say, by forgiving yourself. And if your heart trembles as you hear these words, it's a sign your soul is ready to return. If you feel this message is meant for you, comment, "I am ready to return to myself." And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next divine message from God. Because this journey doesn't end here, it's only just beginning. Dear Gemini, the most precious thing you can rediscover today is your true self. Stop trying to appear strong or perfect, because God isn't waiting for the version of you that has it all together. He only wants you to live truthfully, love sincerely, and feel deeply. Today's lesson is simple. Don't be afraid of loss sometimes. God allows you to lose something only so you can find yourself again. If this message resonates with you, comment, "I have heard God's call." Hit like and subscribe so you'll always be among the first to receive the divine messages meant for the Gemini soul. Thank you for listening with your whole heart. See you in the next video, where God will continue whispering to you about the path called returning to yourself.